No injuries I can see. Maybe some I can't see, but why don't we ring this again? Is the mic on? It is on now. Okay. This morning, with a world at war, it seems, we affirm our collective hope for peace. We also affirm that these lands that we love, these lands that with the smoke turned golden around us, even though we couldn't breathe very well, the trunks of the trees were golden in the smoke. We affirm that these lands that we love are the ancestral lands of the Yavapai people, the Cuevquepayas, the Wipukepas, the Tolkepayas, and the Yavapai. I affirm at this time as well, Oak Flat, the place where Apaches gather sacred plants and hold ceremonies. I affirm that place as sacred, a place where I was all day yesterday in prayer with my ancestors. And today my stole is a shawl I knitted for my great-great-great-grandmother, Patty Bartlett Sessions, a healer who delivered 3,977 babies and was also a settler who disturbed the lands of the Ute people, the Shoshone, especially the Northwest Band of the Shoshone. And I prayed at Oak Flat with my ancestors about me for reconciliation, for peace, and for justice. Let us listen in this prelude music. Let us listen for the places you hold sacred. Feel those trees about you. Listen to the wind. Often yesterday, when people were praying, they said, listen to the wind.
Thank you, Lena. That was just beautiful. Good morning. It is really wonderful to welcome you to Granite Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation in our so far peaceful town of Prescott. We gather with spirit, love, and hope for our community and prayers for peace throughout this difficult time of the chaos in the world. Let us keep praying for that. I am Rhea Batterman, your worship associate this morning. This is the mission statement of our congregation. We are a compassionate spiritual community that celebrates diversity, nurtures the personal and spiritual growth of all ages, shares our gifts, promotes justice and serves the world we live in. Please join us after the service for some goodies in Davis Hall and coffee and some chit chat and get to know each other and welcome in some new people. If you are joining us for the first time, please check out our website at prescottuu.org for more information about us. And if you are new and here in person for the first time, you'll have a chance after the service to introduce yourselves, if you so choose, of course. I'd like to thank our pianist, our wonderful pianist, Lena Hubin, our choir director, Mary Lou Prince, our Granite Peak singers, Sandra Palacio, our faith development coordinator, and all our Sunday morning volunteers. There are announcements up somewhere. There were announcements. Okay, missed those. I have another announcement that I was asked to present. Marian Erickson will be in Davis Hall to accept payments that are due from the auction, and she'll be able to answer any questions that you may have. We begin our service in the Unitarian traditional way of lighting the chalice. Our chalice lighter this morning is Bobby Bollinger. And these are the words. when the great mosaic of humanity is treated with respect and dignity, when no person is threatened by hunger or war, then we shall be free. We light this flame to hold that moment in our spirit and in our minds until we can make this real. Oops.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you. Yesterday, I sat under a very old oak tree, sheltered from the sun in Oak Flat. A place, as I said before, is sacred to the Apache people. Clergy gathered from all over the country to sit there and pledge themselves to keeping this earth sacred. I invite you into that space, that beautiful oak tree above our heads, just as the cottonwoods shelter this building, this parking lot, and shed their leaves in bounty all over us. Wensler Nosey, the Apache elder who is leading the movement to keep Oak Flat sacred, invited us to listen to the wind, to have it blow over us, through us, around us. He called on us to connect with all that is sacred. I wonder when I say that to you, all of the images that are happening in this space, the redwoods appearing in your mind, the sea, far golden hills, forests, flowers, holding all those places, all of those places we hold sacred. Let us rise in body or spirit and sing, gather the spirit. Wait, stop, sorry. The wrong words, but it's a different song. So can you play the other song? Gathered here in the mystery of this hour. This is because there's so many difficult things. I can feel the heaviness. Could we all laugh? Good. In my ancestors' diaries, there were times when they were camping on the Great Plains and their tent blew over in the wind. And she would say, we woke up the next morning and made pancakes. Okay, so we get to make pancakes. Let us sing Gathered Here. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here, one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, spirit draw near. Thank you. And now let us say our covenant together. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community. Thus do we covenant together. And now we enter into our time of joys and sorrows. We hold especially Paul, who is the son of Phyllis and Alan Laughlin, who is doing well, a joy. We hold Joyce Dennison, a new member to our congregation, who is going through hospice in Yarnell. I will see her next week. And Randy Phillips, who we must hold in this congregation in love and for his great service through the years. I was with him a couple of days ago and brought him the love of this congregation. We hold Dixie King, who is with us, in joy. Every time she moves more quickly through those doors. We hold Ukraine. We hold Israel and Gaza. And we hold Bud Landon. And we hold our friend Diane's husband, Dan. And today, to bear witness to the sorrows that transform into joys through the years of when we can mourn well. I have asked Jack Wood to speak today during this time to tell us of his journey of the past weeks, taking his wife Anna's ashes. You were with him in sorrow 5 years ago when she left this earth, Jack.
Good morning. My trip to Rhode Island went well. The main reason for the trip was to find an appropriate place to release Anna's ashes and to do it with family. My 3 children from my first marriage were there. Anna's daughter, Rhea, came from Florida. Rhea's 2 daughters, Maya and Danielle, came from Cape Cod and Falls Church, Virginia, respectively. They're both in their early or mid-30s. Anna's sons, Ian and Stanley, unfortunately were not there. Ian, who lives in Washington, D.C., was experiencing some bipolar issues and decided not to come. And that was probably best for him not to come. Anna's other son, Stanley, felt he could not take time off from his job in San Francisco. I'll be visiting with Stanley and his wife at Thanksgiving to release ashes in the Pacific. My daughter, Katie, who lives in Rhode Island, has 2 daughters, ages 15 and 12. They were there. My other daughter from New Jersey and my son from Oakland was there as well. I had looked online and learned that Rhode Island does not have any state restrictions on where you can deposit human remains. However, being the ocean state, you're not able to disperse them in the water unless you are 3.2 nautical miles from shore. So I decided against the dispersal at sea. We agreed that there was a nice small beach, Mackerel Cove, on the island of Jamestown in Narragansett Bay. 11 of us drove there at 3 o'clock on Sunday, October 22nd in the afternoon, and walked to the western edge of that little beach. High tide had been an hour before. My daughter Krista had told me when high tide was because she consulted the high tide charts. Thank you. Using a trowel and a clamshell, the younger members of our party scooped out a large capital A for Anna's name in the wet beach sand just below the high tide mark. Each of us there then scattered some of the ashes from the urn in the little trench that we had. and then put some seashells and some stones and some beach glass on top of the ashes. And then we scooped sand to fill the trench. Danielle, Anna's granddaughter from Virginia, stood at the waterline and sang Blue Boat Home. On the drive home, we passed some trees, some still ablaze with color, others were muted. So I said to Reverend Patty in my email, I was going to answer your questions about my thoughts concerning re-engaging with spirit. Perhaps I've done so in the paragraphs above, but I continue. For me, to re-engage with spirit means to connect with a person, a place, or a thing that holds special meaning for you. In that connection, you should be present and aware and open to new insights. You should allow that person, place, or thing to touch your heart or your mind, ideally both, and perhaps enable you to have a transformative experience. On that beach in Rhode Island, with granddaughters carving a capital A in the sand, and my wife's ashes resting on the soft, moist earth, and hearing Blue Boat Home sung as waves lap the shore, I think that I re-engaged with spirit. And here at Granite Peak, I enter this modest structure that houses the space for a congregation with heart. I can, if I let myself, be open to the people and the place and the words and the music and the rituals that still provide sustenance for that hour and the week to come. In life, a person must often deal with circumstances that are unpleasant or difficult or tragic. In a place or a frame of mind that allows for the possibility of transformative change, a person might find a path to a richer, fuller, and more positive view of life and of the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. Thank you for completing that circle and embodying what one of the many reasons why we are here as a community and our purpose in the lives of this community. Thank you. And now we enter a time when I invite you to come up and put a stone in the water for any joys and sorrows that you have at this time. Please join me in a spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, we ask for hope in this hurting world. We ask for comfort. We hold as well Dick and Deb Walter, Zoe's friend who was in a head-on collision. We hold so many in Gaza and in Israel, those who are awaiting the return of hostages. We pray for peace. We hold Ukraine. We hold leadership all through this world. And we ask for moments when we can all rise beyond these things and experience joy. May we seek for joy and laughter through these days. Amen, and may it be so. And now I invite you to sing Walking, Walking with You. Walking, walking with you. Walking with you is my prayer. And now is the time for our offering where we give for the life of this congregation and we give to our seeds of support. We are giving now to Link. It is our Latino Immigrant Network Coalition. We support different families throughout the year. And now that we are nearing Christmas, we are receiving, and our holiday season, we are receiving requests from people. They are remembering, they are saying, we are needing to choose between rent and holiday gifts for our children. Please be generous. Thank you. Thank you, Lena. I wanted to sing along. Oh, thank you for your generosity. What is given in love is received in gratitude. Blessed be. The word goodbye, did you know this? The word goodbye is a contraction of God be with ye from the late 14th century. It is a blessing. When I said goodbye to Richard Maurer the morning of his death, I had no idea that he would not live through the next hours. He said to me, Patty, before you go, I will not give my usual goodbye. He said, Grüß Gott. God be with you. Often at memorial services, people say goodbye to those they love with a blessing. Or when people leave on a long journey, my parents always sang that Spanish song, God be with you. Blessings is a way for us humans to ask the universe to surround our loved ones with safety, and sometimes to surround even people we do not know with safety and care when they are out of our sight or when they live out of our sight. This is a Gaelic blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. We lost our friend this week, so I'm a little, so don't worry, it's not about you. It's about Diane, so don't worry. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields until we meet again. May God hold you in the palm of his hand. I remember Desmond Tutu, who was always laughing through disaster. And he spoke of being at a funeral in those towns outside where people had to live who were Black. And he told of this funeral that was so sad of a young person. And even in the last moment, something happened and everyone laughed. And he said it was the best thing that we could have done. So I wish I had Bruno here, my poet, my puppet who speaks with a Russian accent, but after Ukraine was invaded, he went in hiding. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we're able to laugh. Let's listen to the choir sing. Are you okay, Lou? Sorry. Oh, I wish you could have met Diane. She was wonderful. She made a big, big change in the world for many, many people. Anyway. Whew. Sorry. Okay, I think we can do it. Can we do it, Lou? We can do it. Ha! Yes. When the Granite Peak worship team, those amazing people responsible for the variety of services you enjoy through the year, gathered for a retreat in June, we brainstormed about a possible worship theme for the year. Where were we this year? We had gone through pilgrimage, and then we went into gathering too fast. Because it was the pandemic and we really couldn't gather, but it was our hope. Well, the theme this year emerged as re-engaging with spirit, as you heard Jack Wood when he was speaking, re-engaging with spirit with a small s, so this will all become clear, or a large S, spirit with a large S. And on Thursday, as I was preparing this sermon, I reached out to our team and asked them for their thoughts. I want everyone who is a worship associate or thinks they're on the worship team, please raise their hands. Lydia, okay. And our worship team leader back there, Suki Jones. So to begin with, we're going to separate these two things. Re-engaging with spirit with a small s is going to begin. And this is what Suki Jones wrote about this. Re-engage with spirit with a small s is an invitation to come out of our cocoons, to metamorphosize after COVID, and to do so with courage, free of fear. The word engage has many synonyms. Pick the one you like. Involve, participate, join, energize, combat. And to re-engage with spirit is to re-engage with courage, guts, energy, heart, enthusiasm without fear. So we're going to start with that one, an invitation for us to come out of our cocoons, even though it seems that COVID will be with us forever. How many of you have worried in the last week that a sniffle might be COVID? We want to invite you to metamorphosize. Is it metamorphosize? Oh, I thought so. Metamorphose, yes. After COVID, with courage, to get involved, to participate, to join, energize with courage, guts, energy, heart, enthusiasm, without fear. The Japanese loved the word guts. It made them think of John Wayne. They'd always talk about guts. During the pandemic, we lost our guts. We had to use them in a different way. And we experienced some miracles around different kinds of engagement. I remember crying with a neighbor, with the street between us, crying about the divide in this country, with a street between us. And in this community, we had celebrations of life on Zoom that felt deeply connected in spite of being on Zoom. And I'm looking at you, Jack, when you lost your beloved Annette. The gatherings at Oak Flat became limited during the pandemic. They didn't send out calls. This is what Bobby Bollinger wrote. In these depressing and divisive times, when we feel that there is so little we can do, it can be helpful to be reminded of the importance of making a difference in the very small sphere of the world in which we live and of which we are a part. Barack Obama said, in all our communities, in all of our countries, I still believe that there is more of what Greeks call philotomo, love and respect and kindness for family and community and country, and a sense that we're all in this together with obligations to each other. Philotomo, he says, I see it every day, and that gives me hope. Because in the end, it is up to us. It's not somebody else's job. It's not somebody else's responsibility, but it's the citizens of our countries and citizens of the world to bend that arc of history towards justice. And that's what democracy allows us to do. That's why the most important office in any country is not president or prime minister. The most important title is citizen. And Bobby continued, Granite Peak's work helps me keep my head above water amid all of the world's problems if I can work as a citizen toward the betterment of my small corner of the world. And that indeed lifts my spirit to re-engage with spirit. Engaging with a practice of philotomo, love and respect and kindness for family and community and country seems like a perfect way to re-engage with spirit. Bronwyn Butterfield wrote, I believe we need to acknowledge and support the spirit within each of us within this congregation, our community members and acquaintances in our past and present lives. The spirit is expressed in many unique ways, not just verbally, but through our eyes, our mannerisms, and our actions, the way we are with each other. This is a new way to think of engaging with each other. All of us who were thinking about this topic agreed this is not a one-time thing. Re-engaging with spirit is a practice. Tracy Augustine wrote, "The re part of re-engage with the spirit speaks to me because it is something we have to go back to again and again. It's easy to get discouraged or get numb or disengage, to forget to be grateful." That's a very big one, I think. Forget to be kind. We can fall into old patterns. We get fearful, we get negative, and we can feel hopeless. Perhaps all of those forgetting bring on hopelessness. This is a reminder to get back in touch with our spirit, to get reconnected with our community, to pay attention to the positive things that are happening around us, and to reconnect with nature and be grateful for all the gifts around us. Re-engage with spirit is like returning to the well. We all need the sustenance of that well. And Deidre brought yet another perspective. This may just be semantics, but in terms of spirit, I would like to think and believe that we may not necessarily disengage per se, but more likely that we run those batteries down. So it may be more that we need to recharge, re-engage. I'm speaking in terms of how I feel. That is, and again, it may be just semantics, but it's a matter of bringing the spirit back into our awareness and realizing that we need to constantly nurture this and keep it healthy. And we all have various ways of doing that. I rely heavily, she says, on nature. How many of you rely on nature? To rekindle the health of my spirit. And a very nice hike yesterday reminded me of how easy that is. It just needs to be prioritized. Yesterday, when I was driving through those mysterious Superstition Mountains, anticipating the gathering at Oak Flat, I began to breathe more deeply. I opened the windows, tried to ignore the car that was so close behind me, and take a deep breath. For many of us, being in nature is what helps us shift our perspective. We find gratitude from that well. How many times I have forgotten to be grateful. And when I feel low energy, sometimes my brain will happily kick in and ask me, what are you grateful for? And nature seems to be there as we re-engage with spirit with a big S. This is what Suki wrote of that discussion about re-engaging with the big S spirit. Do you feel like you've lost touch with some vital spark, the life force, or if you like, God or goddess? Whichever interpretation you like, the worship associates invite you to consider this theme and make it your own this year. Consider thinking this when you are out there How can you re-engage with spirit? How do you make contact with that vital spark, life force, the universe, God or goddess? And I think this would be a wonderful thing to talk about when you're eating snacks after this service. As I was writing those words, I could hear our dog Louie snoring at my side. He always gives me that gift of presence, that gift we can give each other and give ourselves. When I go on my daily walks, and the best days I go 3 times, which means about 4.5 miles. Sometimes the steep path up to the water tower from which I can see Granite Mountain calls to me, and I veer off and up. I can walk by that turn for days without any urging at all. And then there it is, an invitation to look from a higher spot. When I heard about an invitation to clergy to spend a day of prayer at Oak Flat to support the Apache desire to keep the land sacred, I knew I had to go, just as I knew I had to go when I heard a call from Standing Rock that made me go there in the winter and camp in my pup tent for 3 whole weeks in the snow. Yesterday, I spent the whole day in prayer, which for me was re-engaging with spirit with a big S. Through 5 hours of prayer and singing and talks, I gave my attention, especially to a woman whose grandmother, she was a Tonatum woman, whose grandmother gave her a new name at 18, the light of the Milky Way. And she sang for us and told us stories. And when it was my turn, I gave a prayer for reconciliation and forgiveness of the part that my ancestors played in the settlement of this land. And for the first time since I have participated in this kind of ceremony, I felt my ancestors with me as I walked around the circle and prayed, which is why I wore this today. And in the middle of writing all of this, I took breaks to send an email, to make a call, to respond to a message in a way that I hoped might be a blessing. As Bronwyn wrote, we need to support the spirit in each other. And when we do that, that comes back to us. As we nourish others, we are nourished. At Oak Flat, many people articulated that by saving that sacred place, we were saving ourselves. Many of us know that about rescuing animals. We save that cat or dog, and then they save us over and over again. This work of the spirit, this re-engagement with spirit, and spirit with the big S, brings rewards, and there is never an end to it. This is a practice we must keep renewing because we forget to be thankful. We forget to bless those around us. Life happens. Lydia Garrett reminds us that this can be hard work. Would you prefer to read this yourself, Lydia? No, I'll go ahead. It was at the end of all the others, an important wisdom. Yes, it's always good to take stock and then to re-engage with spirit and energy. And that also takes organization and listening to needs and then to fulfill them, or at least try to. That takes spirit and dedication and work. Work. Dedication. I wonder if we can dedicate ourselves to re-engaging with spirit. At Oak Flat yesterday, sitting around the sacred fire, we were asked to dedicate ourselves to protecting the sacred earth. A speaker who had worked with Martin Luther King Jr. and spoke with such fire. He spoke of a time when and urged us to see our strength. He spoke of the week before Martin Luther King was murdered. He spoke of the hard work. He spoke of the blessing. When we do the hard work with laughter and joy, when we re-engage, sometimes everything works together and there is magic of that spirit, as you heard when Jack Wood spoke of taking his wife's ashes back. Sometimes the universe works together, and we as a body, a group, a family, a community, feel and are lifted by spirit. These human miracles can happen. We wait for them because hearts can open, which I believe is the hope I have for peace. Conversations can happen with friends before they die. We can offer them a blessing on their way. May the stars guide your way. And in our interactions with each other, may we become more human and at the same time more full of spirit. Spirit, both kinds. Be present. Give people your full attention when you are talking, and then listen to what they say. And if you notice me darting away, call me back. I really appreciate that. I invite you as I try to bring my whole self to interactions with this community, with our neighbors, and in front of the Prescott City Council. May we engage again and again with courage, grit, and knowing that it can be hard work. Just as long relationships are hard, may we listen to each other, even when the listening is hard, even when we don't want to hear what is being said. And may we take the opportunity whenever we can to bless one another with words, with looks, and with actions. Amen. And may it be so. And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit, and we will sing one of our favorite songs. That was the composer of this song, Spirit of Life, was discouraged. And she came home and she felt so low, like she could never make any difference in the world. And she sat at the piano and wrote this song. This song came out of discouragement that she was present to. Let us sing together, Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rising from the sea. Move in the sun, giving life the shape of justice. Roots holding close, Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arraigame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí. During the 25 years of this congregation's history, you have done so much. You have welcomed many ministers. You have reached out to the community and created change in programs for the unhoused. You have marvelously done empty bowls. The welcome you have given people has changed lives, as the welcome that a Unitarian Universalist congregation gave us so many years ago. You have changed lives. May this good work continue for many years to come, and may the wind be always at your back. May the sunshine warm upon your face, the rains fall soft upon your fields and forests until we meet again. And may God hold you, whatever you mean by God, hold you in the palm of his or her hand. Amen. And now we will extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And I fear that we've lost our, you have it in the back. Perfect. Okay. Well, you who are on Zoom, I can't see you anymore, but I'm glad you're there. You will be going into breakout rooms, but in this place, I would like to invite anyone who is visiting to introduce themselves, or if you have come back after a long time, announce to people, I am not new. I am very old. So that is there anyone, I'm sorry, I probably say that and then nobody's brave enough to stand. Would anyone like to stand and introduce themselves? Or raise your hand and stay in place? Yes, please. Yay. Yay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves? Okay. Yes. That is Dawn, who probably went to see her husband. Did you? No, it doesn't matter. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to try to make my way out there. So don't catch me on the way, so I can greet you on your way out. So thank you all for being here.